Welcome back to another episode of Horror Galore. We're in the H's, and for those of you who can read sideways, this isn't. I got Hellraiser and Hills Have Eyes, and I'm gonna put there. That's this episode, this chunk. Trying to speed this up. I want to be here for 4 years. Hellraiser came out in 1987, and it's a story of this girl who has to get this, which is the puzzle box. She has to take the puzzle box from her uncle who has it and has to give it to Pinhead, a Cenobite, and then, everything can go back to normal. There's a little bit more in depth to it. There's some really gruesome parts for the 80s, and I think even now, relatively disgusting. Seeing somebody's face, their skin just melt off. It's still effective, even though I can clearly tell it's most likely they were melting clay in a strip or something like that, or wax. It's probably wax. Anyway, that main character returns in Hellraiser 2, or Hellbound Hellraiser 2. And you can see Pinhead returned. Those two movies are good. By themselves, they're good. After that, it starts to go all over the place. The entire franchise just goes odd. Because in Hellraiser 3, Hell on Earth, a drug I think they don't specifically say what he is, but he's got tons of money. He owns a nightclub, and he is a sadomasochist. And for some reason, there's a giant statue that spins, and one of the sides, it's triangle shaped. Although you can't see what triangle shape is when I'm holding my hand like this. Triangle shaped. One of the sides has Pinhead stuck to it because somehow he got stuck in the statue. They make new Pinheads in it, new Cenobites, because there's a guy that has a camera lens jammed into his eye. But that guy never shows up again. I forget which number it is, but then I don't have 4. I jump a bit. Because if the character from the first film, she comes back later. But that one I don't have. I go to Hellseeker. Which then I remembered that. Actually, that's this one. Yeah. That Christy Cotton apparently was her name. Because I could see that on the back. It's not bad. Because I'm going to just move on. Because the one that I want to talk about, Deader. Hellraiser Deader. There's a cult in England dedicated to them. Dedicated to Cenobites. And this reporter is underground. She's going... What would the word be? Undercover. She goes undercover as one of the members joins, and Hell on Earth happens. This Hellraiser Revelations does not have the guy Doug, who is Pinhead in every other film, because Dimension Studios, they said, here's a you know, we're gonna do the movie. We want you to sign on. However, you can't read the script until you sign it, until you sign the contract. And he went, no. Why would I sign on to something if I don't know what the hell I'm doing? So they said, well, never mind. Got somebody else to play Pinhead. And the guy can clearly see that it was a good reason he didn't do the film. Because it was shot in, I think, 30 days, something like that. They rushed this film really quick. So it was really just the shittiest thing. And it takes place in Mexico. Most of it takes place in Mexico. So, okay, now, the box is gone. Improvement. We're getting there. Eventually, like I've said this before, eventually we're going to get so low that we might have to just sit down. Because it's going to be weird pointing to a film that you can't see anymore. So, that's done. Hills Have Eyes. Wes Craven. Okay. Put you there for now. So, that's actually a good movie. Actually, a very good movie. Okay. It's such a good movie that they decided to, later on, remake it. The Hills Have Eyes. Alright. These two movies are almost identical. It's a legit remake. They didn't take this and go, okay, we're gonna put it in a modern setting. We're gonna change it from Mexico to, or from the Mojave Desert in New Mexico, and we're gonna put it in to like Tijuana or Africa. No, everything was the exact same, and that's why the remake is good. It stayed very close to the original film, which also is very good. This is a good remake. Now, I'm glad that when this goes to do the sequel, because this has a sequel, the original has a sequel, they steered away from the original sequel. Because the original sequel is Hills Have Eyes 2. So, in that film, in the original and remake, a family gets stranded in the desert, and these mutants kill everybody. Except the son survives. The son is helped by one of the mutant girls named Ruby. In the sequel, Ruby and the son are dating. And they go back to the desert because the son came up with some experimental fuel that will make a dirt bike go faster, and they're out in the desert to test it. But they wind up in the same desert that his family died in. That was stupid. So the film is like, why would they go back here? This is traumatic. They know this area. Why would they go back there knowing what's there? So it's a stupid plot point. And the movie's not that great because essentially it's just rehashed the original. Now, the remake sequel, The Hills Have Eyes 2, has nothing to do with the original. It has nothing to do with the remake. So it's the Army National Guard is there, and they have to fight. They fight them, which makes that movie a subgenre of horror called military horror. You know, I feel like this one was really quick. So I'm going to add in the eyes. This is one of those films you most likely never heard of, The Innkeepers. This is one of those movies that I never saw in the theaters. I just wound up buying the DVD, watching it, and it's very low budget. There's probably less than 10 cast members. There's not a lot of music in it. So it's like modern director making an old school horror movie, like a horror movie from the 50s. That's what this movie feels like. Feels like a classic horror movie. Surprisingly, it was a good film. So, moving on from a surprisingly good film to one that they're currently remaking. Although this isn't, I Know What You Did Last Summer trilogy. So, I Know What You Did Last Summer starts off with Typo Negative, Summer Breeze playing for the intro credits. So I'm like, oh, this is going to be good because it's a band I like. I automatically have a connection to it. Then you go right into the setup of the thing. College kids, prom night, they hit some guy. A year later, he comes back to kill everybody. The movie is good. It actually is a good film. The sequel, I Still Know What You Did Last Summer, not so much. So, the original killer's son is now the killer. And he wants revenge, but he wants her to be on a remote island in the Caribbean. That's a stupid plot. She hears this thing about that if you call the radio station and you know the answer to the question, you can win a trip. And so they go, well, what is the capital of Brazil? She answers, Rio de Janeiro. Many people from the U.S. would go, well, isn't it? And I went, no, it's not. It's Brazil. Anyway, Jack Black's in it, and he's playing a stereotypical Rastafarian because, according to him, Rastafarians just do nothing but smoke pot, and that's not even true. Rastafarian is a religion. They smoke the pot to anoint the body, and they go and pray. It's the equivalent of a Catholic walking into the cathedral, dipping their hand in holy water, and then doing the sign of the cross. They're anointing their body, same thing. It's the same concept, but not the same thing. Anyway, so he's just basically a stoner. Jack Black is a comedian. You don't put a comedian in a horror film unless you want things to be funny. Horror films aren't supposed to be funny. So this, I Still Know What You Did This Summer, borders on horror comedy, or comedy horror, which I don't like any of those. Anyway, stuff happens, and at some point somebody mentions that Rio de Janeiro is not even the capital of Brazil, it's Brazil. And when I heard that, I went, aha! Eureka! Somebody figured it out, that she's actually that stupid. Anyway, so that movie ends, and then what the hell they call it? I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer. Horrible piece of shit of a movie with a horrible piece of shit of a title. Now, the third one doesn't have any of the original cast. It doesn't take place near that. I think that one takes place in like Seattle, like Washington State. And the killer's different. It's then oh, that's right. Towards the end of the film, I think they stab the guy in the heart, and he winds up popping up, like floating, and flies over. He winds up with supernatural powers at the end of the film, and it was just garbage. Absolute garbage. I even think that the killer teleported at one point. But that movie was shit. I actually think it was a direct-to-DVD. It was direct-to-video. I think it was a direct-to-video, but if it wasn't, it should have been because it was shit. So, okay, so that's the end of this one. Because now I think this one is a good enough time frame. Thank you for watching. If you liked it, click the like button. If you disagree with anything, put it in the comments. If you agree with it, you can put that in the comments too. Or if you just have any generic comments, put them in there. Or a suggestion like, hey, how come you don't have this film? Go for that. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on Instagram. And if you want to support the channel, which I would like somebody to do, go to my Patreon page, and links in the description for all that in the bottom. Thank you for watching. Goodbye. Oh, and by the way, too sweet me, bro.